Presentation of the following assignments for the students. Prepare a program for an informational meeting with local communities about relevance and potential benefits for hosting a geological repository for spent nuclear fuel. This presentation has been prepared and presented on June 17, 2015. Group 3, Magdalena Grab, Jędrzej Jakus, Marta Jurczyk, and Ichuan Lee. Take a mic, please. Yes. And 1, 2, 3, you are on. Yes. Okay.
Welcome, everybody. My name is Jędrzej. Here's Magda, Marta, and Ichuan. We are the students of AGH University of Science and Technology in Kraków, except of Ichuan, who is studying on KTH. Welcome on our little speech of is it worth to have an underground repository here in Sweden?
We should know the difference between the safe and dangerous source of the radiation. Why I'm talking about? Because the main problem, social problem with the... It doesn't work at all.
It's working today.
All right. All right. The main social problem with the nuclear waste storage is the fear, social fear about the increase of the radiation. We will convince you that this fear is unfounded.
Hello everybody, my name is Magdalena and I've got a question to you. Do you like bananas? Yes. I love them too. I eat them every day. And do you know what is a good thing about bananas? They have got potassium. And potassium is a good thing for our bodies because it gives power to our muscles and it improves the condition of our nervous system. But you know what? It contains also radioactive isotope of potassium, K4D. And there is something like... Could I?
Yes.
Whoa, quite a lot of things here. You can find it on Wikipedia. Banana equivalent dose. So, when you eat one banana, you also consume a dose of 0.1 microsievert. So, this is a banana. And this is a dose coming from a banana. So, as you can see, I'm still alive and I eat a lot of bananas.
According to the Nordic Society for Radiation Protection, the constant background radiation rate in Sweden is about 4 millisievert per year. Will it change because of the repository in here, in this area? It will not change. Why? Each one will tell us something about.
Yeah, this is a design from SKB, so we just take the pictures from their website. According to their design, we have several barriers to isolate the radioactive isotopes from the outer surroundings, especially the water surrounding under the rocks. So we will choose a very safe place which has a very stable rock movement for the past several million years, basically. And then we have copper and some three layers to isolate the radioactive nuclides.
The final disposal of fuel is based on 3 protective security layers. Copper canister consists of the iron inserts to provide the mechanical resistance. Outer shell of copper protects against the corrosion in case of some bad environment influence. And ensure lack of release of radionuclides. In the deposition holes, the canister is surrounded by buffer of clay. Why did we choose bentonite? Because of the absorption level which it provides. it can absorb 20 times more volume of liquid than the own volume. Do you know better place to hide something than 500 meters underground? Because I don't.
So, as you can see, this protection system is really advanced because of the fact that it is being designed by competent people, by scientists, geologists, engineers. And I think that this kind of development should be continued because of the fact that it improves the important areas of science as geology, hydrogeology, etc., and other kind of science connected with nuclear waste storage.
We all know that it's very important for us and future generations to take care of spent nuclear fuel. And one of the solutions of this problem is an underground repository. According to what just Magda said, this unique facility also increases the scientific prestige of the area when it's going to be built. And because of new investments and possibilities could occur here. Actually, geological researches are the most important to choose appropriate localization of the repository. And that's why our knowledge about underground rock formations is being improving all the time. The area around repository have to be also be monitored very well to predict, for example, some bedrock movements. And the construction of the canisters requires high knowledge in material engineering. That's why a group of scientists are still working, for example, on perfect proportion of components in bentonite used in the canisters.
Yes, got some examples. Actually, a lot of research has been already done. I will mention some titles of publication I have coming from SKB website. Of course, you can just check it out by yourself. It is, of course, accessible for everyone. So the first one the first title is Monitoring of Precipitation Water Chemistry in 2009. The second one is Swedish National Seismic Network. And the third one is Radon as a Groundwater Tracer in Forsmark and Laxmark. So, as you can see, there is only 3 of titles. And on their website there is, I don't know, 1,000. Oh, I don't want to say approximately, but a huge amount of it actually. And as you can see, it is touching many aspects. So it is visible that the work and devotion of people working on these researches is not general. It is detailed, it is accurate, and it is professional. So, in my opinion, those people are putting a lot of effort into their job, and I think that they deserve people's effort. People's trust.
Okay, after we talked about the safety issue, we can talk about some financial benefits we can bring to this area. The first one I want to say is we can bring more tourists to visit this place. For example, the Espoo Laboratory had already got 145,000 visitors since 1995 inception. And this number is collected from the internet. And we have searched the Wikipedia to search the Oshkosham population in 2010 is 17,258, and that's 8.5 times to the population of Oshkosham, and that's a really big number for only one laboratory. The second one is we can have more reputation and popularity to this place. Let's take Oskarshamn as an example again. And thanks to Google Translate, I can read some Swedish. And I found this magazine Focus. It has a ranking best to stay 2015. And it listed 290 places. And Oskarshamn has climbed 14 places better than last year. Now it is 94 in 2015 research. Okay, the third one is we can have more tax income for the local government. That's all. That's the basic stuff we can gain from the laboratory. And the first benefit is we can have more working places offered to local people. That's really great. The last one is we can have some development for the local infrastructure construction, and as we know, Oskarshamn is a big harbor in Sweden, and I think some development is due to the establishment of this laboratory and the nuclear waste fuel repository research here. As well as the housing market and more investment can be attracted to this area. Okay, so this is the 5 points of from financial point of view. Okay. Thank you so much for your attention.
So, have you got any questions?
I have one question. How much bananas can I eat before I get kind of dangerous?
We know it. We know it. We have this information. Come on, Magda.
So, the level dose is 3,500 millisieverts.
It gives us.
So quite.
I know the number of the bananas.
Oh, so.
Bananas.
So our
Can you manage it? Because I don't.
so our conclusion is you just eat too much.
Magda, technically, this is really 5 sievert, which is considered to be a lethal dose to the whole body, not 3.5. There is a 50% survival, but something between 3 or 5. But it doesn't work because if you divide, any number you are here by 1, you will never get 1 at the so it's about 5. So that's a good answer, but you were prepared for that, yes. Okay, please. In short time you have to eat them. Yes.
During one day.
Yes, something like that, yes.
I have one.
Okay.
I don't really like nuclear energy, and I wonder why should we invest in this? I'm afraid that they will just build more reactors in my backyard if we do this. What is your answer to this question?
If you want to have cheap and clean energy, electricity from some kind of sources, you have to choose. You can have clean and cheap energy, or you can have pollution in your country, as in Poland as well. So it's just you have to choose what do you want. And the problem with the storage is also connected with the and it's focused on all of the users of the energy of the electricity. Thank you.
Okay. Any other question? Maybe maybe you are not happy. Just read them all with the answer.
No, I'm happy this time.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. So please tell me.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I think that it was a very good presentation, and the introduction where you told the audience that you were students working with these issues was very good. Yes, I also enjoyed the bananas, but if we are looking at what the interview for the other group were doing with people, I'm not quite sure that they know what one microsievert is like, even if they are going to eat some bananas. So I think it's just a bit dangerous to be too technical with numbers and figures and sorts and so on, because people are not so familiar, even if we know what millisieverts and microsieverts is. But I think that it's a bit dangerous to do that. And for the benefits, you have the economic benefits, and money counts. Every time it's the money which counts in the end. So that was very good for me. But when you are talking about many different barriers and connection to the bananas, why do we have to put the waste 500 meters down in the bedrock with copper canister, with the hard rock system and bentonite, if we can compare the radiation with the bananas? So that is my comment. But I think it was a very good presentation. Thank you.
Yeah, I think it was a good presentation. Like the others have said, I liked you were starting out with bananas, common foods. You were talking about background radiation to get them to understand that they're exposed to background radiation. But like my colleagues have said, as soon as you got into millisieverts, microsieverts, they have no idea they don't even know what milli means. I would have liked to have seen maybe give some ideas about if there was a repository, how could you compare the repository, the radiation from the repository to your background without getting quantitative, just to make them feel a little more at ease that if the repository is there, they're not going to see it, they're not going to feel it, they're not going to know it. It won't affect them. Let's see here. You're awfully technical in some places, and I think my colleagues have mentioned it, that you need to dumb it down, you know, because the public isn't that very technical. And you listed some titles of references. You might want to say what the information was, dumbing it down so that they could understand why they'd be interested in even looking, because looking at the titles, again, the public won't get it. Why you mentioned that. That's all I can think of. Good job.
Yes, good job. But I'm not going to be as nice as my colleagues over here, because I think you completely failed to what the audience you are talking to. I mean, if you had put in an application for funding for this kind of a project, and you had a group of referees to how you say, judge between your request compared to others, I think this would have been a very good way of doing it in a perhaps slightly different way than what you normally do. You asked for the audience, or what's called, you asked to be able to present your case. This is our case. This is what we want to have funded, and we think that you should be interested in what we are telling you. We have all the details. Now we're going just to give you a broad technical description of what it contains. Just perfect. But if I was a landowner in the place where you were supposed to construct a repository, and you came out with this kind of an information, I would get the impression, no way. I mean, you would probably have done more damage than what you succeeded in a way to convincing me that I would be positive to this kind of a message. So, I mean, once again, nothing about your presentation and the content of it. That was good, but it was not for the audience. I think you were asked to put this presentation. Pardon?
We didn't encourage, yeah?
You didn't encourage, not at all, no.
Okay, I have a few comments also. Of course, the start with the banana and berry every day was excellent, actually. And you could stay with the banana. Don't go to the microsievert or whatever.
Yeah.
So and actually you missed also the important actually argument, because you can take any number about the leak and about the possible dose to the public, you know, taking SKB results, you know, what isotopes will contribute levels about, and then compare that is equivalent to so many bananas actually you eat, and it will be really very convincing, because it will be, you know, looking at the numbers you are talking on the plots, it is really on the same level or even below of some of the items. So you started perfectly, and then little bit you became too technocratic. So you should avoid being technocratic to the people. You know, there was kind of the undertone, we know better, little bit too much. And then one information also for you, for the next presentation maybe, it is also radioactive to sleep together with your partner actually. And it is actually almost 100 times higher dose from the second person you are getting.
Yes,
actually.
that's true.
That's about 100 times more actually potassium in the human small body.
Yeah.
Than
We were
but
thinking about it.
That's a risky comparison. It wouldn't go for everybody. I'm doing just for your knowledge. That's banana. But and you know what? Also, I thought these presentations were a little bit more for us than for the public.
All right.
That you want to show that you are really good in that. You know all the facts. You know all the things. Okay, but that's good job. Thank you very much.
We don't get the banana. No.
We need